Okay, so today we are going to talk about hypothesis testing for proportions. And hypothesis testing is super cool, and you need to find your sheet that says steps for p-value testing. Do not lose this sheet, and it is super important that you follow along on the whole thing. And we're going to do this together. And you've already watched the video that goes through and it says how to write a claim, a null, and an alternative. And we're going to do that together first. So read. And so the first thing that we notice on this one is that it's talking about a claim here. The U.S. Department of Commerce reports that in 2023, 31% of cell phone users had Verizon as their mobile provider. A random sample of 1,100 cell phone users this year shows that 600 who prefer Verizon. If appropriate, test whether the population proportion who prefer Verizon has increased. That means more than 31%. So that means our proportion is more than 0.31. Since that does not have equality, that will be our alternative, more than 31%. The null will always be the one that does have equality, less than or equal to 0.31. So null has equality, alternative does not. And we are doing a hypothesis test for a proportion, and I'm not going to write the whole thing down there, but alpha is 0.05. Okay, now I'm going to show you how to do this test. So if you'll go to the calculator section, we have 3 different hypothesis tests. Hypothesis test for a mean with stats, mean with data. Today we're using the hypothesis test for a proportion. It'll ask you all kinds of stuff. It'll ask you for n, x, p naught. That's the proportion that we are testing against. So if we'll go back and look at our question, we have 600 who prefer, 1,100 total, and 31%. 1,100 total, 600 who prefer, and we're testing against 31%. And you'll look over here to the side, and you'll notice that none of these over here at the side have an equality mark. That means that this is your alternative. So go back and look at your question. The alternative is greater than. We do not give 2 cents what the claim says. We care about the alternative. The alternative says greater than. So go back over to your calculator, and you're going to pick greater than. So we have 600 out of 1,100, 31%, greater than, calculate, and we get p equals 0. P will either be between 0 and 1. If it's like 1.1 something, keep reading, and it will be in scientific notation. So P is 0. So come back over here. P is 0. Okay. That means that P is low. Null must go. That means that you rejected the null hypothesis. P is low, the null must go. So this is what I want you to do. If the null must go, I want you to come up here and very lightly mark out your null hypothesis. You're either going to mark out the null or you're going to mark out the alternative, but you're going to mark out one of the two. So if you mark out the null, circle your alternative. And then check to see, does it match what you claimed? Does it match what you claimed? Yes, it does. It does match what I claimed. And since it matches what I claimed, that makes me really happy. And because that makes me really happy, I can say that there is enough evidence to support whatever it was that I just claimed. There is enough evidence to support the claim that more than 31% of people prefer Verizon or whatever. But what you're not going to say is that we have proved anything, because we didn't prove anything, because 5% of the time we're wrong. So we're not going to say prove anything. Okay, we're going to say support. You can also talk like fail to reject and some of that other kind of weird language, but it's just easier to say that there is enough evidence to support the claim or there is not. Okay, we're going to do one more of these together. Okay, here we go. Second one. This question was posed on TikTok, and we all know that it's absolutely valid if it's on TikTok. Do you believe that the Loch Ness Monster is real? Among 21,346 people. Okay, so that would be in 21,346. 64% said yes. They didn't tell us X this time. So X would be 64% of that, so that would be 13,661.44, but since you can't have part of a person, we round it up to 13,662. State your original claim. It said, test the claim that most people, most means more than half. Most means more than half. More than half the people believe in the Loch Ness Monster. More than half of the people, more than half of the people believe in the Loch Ness Monster, or 50% of the people or less believe in the Loch Ness Monster. We're doing a proportion test for hypothesis, and let's go do that test. Okay, and I think our numbers were 13,662 out of 21,346. 13,662 out of 21,346. 21,346, and this time we are doing 50%, more than 50%. Okay, and again we get 0. You're not going to get 0 every time. Okay, if P was like 0.5 or 0.3, P would be high, but P is 0. Okay, so P is 0. P is low. Null must go. So you're going to mark out your null, see if they match. This time they do match. There is enough evidence to support the claim that most people believe in the Loch Ness Monster, but would you really believe that most people believe in the Loch Ness Monster because this was a TikTok poll? Probably not, because we know from Chapter 1 that people only answer polls when they really have a vested interest in whatever it is that they are answering. Okay, so, all right. So make sure that you also watch the video about means. It will go into more detail about P and P values. Okay, and reach out to me if I can be of any help.